Board. Take your notebooks, get ready with that. And today's date is 5/13/21, and we're going to name triangles. Some of you might have learned this already. Some of you might have learned it in Alex. We're going to learn it all together, review today. Triangles have specific names. Triangles have like a first name and a last name. Depending on what they look like, we give them a particular name, okay? So we're going to name them today based on their angles. Okay, so we're going to give them a particular name based on their angles, okay? And we talked about angles. A couple weeks ago. We learned about what an acute angle is, what obtuse.
Are there like isosceles in those ones?
Yeah, but today we're going to base it on angles. So we're going to base it on acute, obtuse, and right. Okay? So the first way you can name a triangle is you can call it an acute triangle. An acute triangle, all three angles are acute. Well, what does that mean? They all mean, acute means less than 90 degrees. Okay, so in an acute triangle, all three angles are acute, which means they're less than 90 degrees.
Are we gonna do like equilateral ones? Or?
So today we're going to base it on their angles.
Oh, only doing that one.
So acute triangle has all three angles are acute. That means they're less than 90 degrees. So if I have this is an acute triangle, which means, like, for example, this is 80 degrees, this is 40 degrees, and this is 60 degrees, right? All of these numbers are less than 90, so therefore this triangle is called an acute triangle. This triangle is called an acute triangle based on its angles. Okay, that's the first one. The second one, we call it a right triangle.
So now half your page went right.
Sorry, walked away to get some water. What was that?
Your screen, oh, now it's fine, but your screen was like all bright before.
Oh, that's probably because I walked away. All right, so the right triangle has one right angle, and a right angle measures 90 degrees. So that typically looks like a triangle like this, and it will have this little tiny little square right there. That little square right there means that it's a right angle. So as soon as you have one right angle, boom, right there, you call the whole thing a right triangle. Because of that one angle, the whole thing is called a right triangle. Okay? These two are acute. So you have two angles that are acute, but one is a right, so the whole thing is called a right. So it's kind of like a video game, who has more power? Well, the 90-degree angle has more power, so it's named a right triangle. Even though you have two acute, doesn't matter. They're weak. They have no power. So we don't call it acute. We call it a right because of that one right angle. Okay? Number 3. The last way you can name a triangle based on its angles are called an obtuse triangle. And an obtuse triangle has one obtuse angle. But you might be saying, like, okay, but what's an obtuse triangle? Well, an obtuse triangle is anything that is more than 90 degrees. Okay? So if you have an angle that's obtuse, boom, the whole thing is called an obtuse triangle. You cannot draw a triangle with two obtuse. You cannot draw a triangle with two right. Like you can even try it right now, like on the side. Try to draw like, okay, I'm gonna draw a triangle. You don't, like, okay, here's a 90 degrees. Can you do another 90 degrees and call this a triangle? No. You end up with like a square. So I'm gonna draw a obtuse angle first. There's my obtuse angle. And then I'm just gonna close it up to make it into a triangle. So that angle right there, I'm gonna say is like 125 degrees. So because this angle right there, let's zoom it in, because that angle right there is 125 degrees, the whole thing is gonna be called.
The other ones have to be less than them?
Yes, because mathematically what you learned yesterday is they have to equal 180, right? So if this is 125, by default, these two angles will be less than 90 because mathematically it has to equal 180. If I have two angles that are more than 90 degrees, you already hit above 180 mathematically. So it doesn't, you can't do it, right? So that's why it's only one obtuse. Again, if you try drawing a triangle with two obtuse, your triangle is going to be like wide open, and it just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. All right. Are we okay? Pretty simple, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Any questions? Because basically this is it for today.